Hey, what is up guys? So it's definitely been a long time since I last uploaded. I was just really busy. I think it's been almost 4 months now since I last uploaded a video, so do apologize for that. But I just had no time whatsoever. I mean, I had so many things going on, so many projects that I had to get done, and yeah, it was just really affecting the time I had to record a video, upload a video, or even just edit it beforehand. But with that being said, I have caught up to a few things, and right now there is the new ban list, so it's definitely quite a few changes here that are quite significant, whereas a few others I do think are quite questionable indeed. So this is effective from the 14th of September, so it's going to be very interesting because this will continue on until December the 15th before we get our next list. That's quite a long time because normally we only have about 2 or 3 months, but this time we actually have about, quite a bit more than that. So definitely something we'll have to endure if we don't actually enjoy this particular list. But with that being said, let's get started. We only have 3 cards that have been banned. That's a good thing because I would prefer that less cards be banned. But that being said, let's just actually go over which ones are actually controversial in this particular case. So the first card we have here is Block Dragon. This one is quite an interesting hit. Doesn't necessarily affect me too much, but it is used in a lot of rock decks, so quite interesting seeing that it was completely banned. I'd figure they would at least limit it first and give people a go, but you know what, having it banned, I could see why. There are certain decks out there that could really do a lot of things there, and I originally had the intention of playing it in Megaliths. Moving on, we have here Jet Synchron. Now this one's a very interesting one because Jet Synchron is definitely quite a powerful card that is definitely underestimated. I didn't think that would actually go onto the ban list. I figured it would still be available. I mean, sure, it might be limited, but to actually have it banned right off the bat is quite insane because, yeah, I know this card is quite strong. It just allows you to keep on synchro climbing, link climbing. It's a great card, but for it to get banned, I mean, I feel like that's quite quick. I thought that this would be a good chance for synchros to actually come back, but Jet Synchron, yeah, I mean, having that gone is definitely quite a huge deal for certain decks out there. And the last ban card we have here is Mega Phantom Beast Olion. Olion kind of acts similarly to Jet Synchron in the fact that it can actually recur and resummon itself after it's been used. So again, another link climbing tool, another potential synchro climbing tool. So yeah, those are the 3 cards that have been banned. The interesting thing is that all of these cards are brand new into the whole banned portion of it. All of them were originally at 3, so definitely quite a crazy hit for all of these here. And I could see reasons as to why they were hit. It's just that for some of them I was more so expecting them to be limited rather than banned. Okay, so now let's move on to the limited section. So the first card we have here is Double Iris Magician. It was originally forbidden, so it does kind of give a nice buff for Pendulum Magicians. Of course, I don't really think it's going to do too much, so yeah, there's not much else I could really say about this. However, the next card is definitely going to be quite a crazy card here, and that is the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardich. This card is, it was a card that I was kind of disappointed because I had just bought the deck off someone and all of a sudden it got banned. So unfortunately I was unable to actually play it for a long time. So seeing that it finally came back into a limited form, which, I'm totally okay with. It doesn't have to be at 3, but the fact that it's now limited gives me the option to actually play it, so I'm very excited to actually get back into Phantom Knights. Of course, the big fear I have here is the potential of Burning Abyss coming back. and we'll get to that later on. I mean, it's going to kind of relate to this later on. But moving on, we also have Called by the Grave. Now, this is one I was actually quite upset about. Called by the Grave is an extremely crucial card in this particular format, in this particular era of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm just so surprised that this card got hit to 1. It should not be hit to 1, it should always be at 3. It's an absolute necessity. It's the only way we could really stop a lot of these graveyard effects. You know, yeah, we have DD Crow, but a lot of these grave effects can actually trigger, and right now Called by the Grave is the only card that really allows us to stop our opponents from utilizing grave effects. So definitely quite a big hit for almost everyone, because now it just allows so many decks to go wild, and I don't know what Konami's really thinking here. I mean, Called by the Grave at 1 is not something that I agree with at all. I think it should stay at 3. We've had these cases where Called by the Grave was hit before on the ban list, but I have a guess that in the next format or the next list, it's going to come back somehow. I mean, you're gonna see the different things that are going to be going on with this particular format. The next card, we have Harpy's Feather Duster. Now, this card, I do like it for the fact that it is generic enough that everyone can play it. The big problem with this card is that it is a Harpy card, and you know, I really should be making a video about this, but Harpies are a really underestimated deck. They are extremely powerful, and yeah, I just think that, you know, a lot of people don't really take them seriously. I do think that Harpies will become quite scary in this format, because they have ways to search Feather Duster, whereas for the rest of us, we only get to hope to only draw into this card. So yeah, for Harpies, it's definitely going to be quite a big deal. I mean, sure, we just have to get away with this by not playing any spells or traps, but you know, that's kind of the problem here. We're gonna have to adapt and change into styles where we don't utilize back row as much as we had hoped. So I guess it's a good counter for Phantom Knight decks that might be coming back. But with that being said, Harpy's Feather Duster is going to be a huge boost for Harpies, and it also will definitely affect this format where less decks that utilize the back row will be played. It could also make things a bit predictable, where you could let your guard down now because you don't have to worry too much about your opponents actually playing back row. But that's pretty much it for the whole limited section. So now let's move on to semi-limited. Now, a lot of cards actually just came off the limited section and moved on to semi-limited, so that is definitely quite nice. I like seeing more cards come off the ban list. But with that being said, a few of these are definitely quite crazy changes. So to begin, we have the first two here are Seer and Graph of the Burning Abyss. Both cards, wow, coming back to semi-limited is going to be quite insane. Like I said before, with the Phantom Knights of Bardich actually coming back, Burning Abyss, or you know, PK Knights, I mean, they're definitely going to go crazy here. I mean, this is something that it's definitely going to make a big change. I mean, for all of you Burning Abyss players, I mean, there's a lot to be happy about for this particular list. You know, personally, I don't mind playing Burning Abyss. However, I don't enjoy actually going up against Burning Abyss. It's always been one of those decks that were just really tedious and annoying to go against. Not to say that they were strong or anything. I mean, there were definitely decks that I had a very hard time beating, but when it came to Burning Abyss, it was just something I didn't enjoy going up against. So yeah, seeing Seer at 2 and Graph at 2 and Rusty Bardich back at 1, it's going to be big here. And moving on, we have here, oh, and at the same time, actually, I want to quickly mention this, with Seer and Graph at at 2, and also the fact that Burning Abyss can actually come back. The thing is this, we also lost Called by the Grave, so this is, no matter what, this whole format might shift into a Burning Abyss format. So yeah, that's going to be quite crazy. I don't really want to see Burning Abyss in the format as much. You know, I much rather prefer that it stays in the casual realm of things, but you know, this is definitely going to give a lot of Burning Abyss players confidence into actually playing this particular deck again. But with that being said, let's move on to ABC Dragon Buster. Coming to 2 is definitely not bad at all. I think it's okay, yeah. So seeing this, I do have an ABC deck, so or rather a core that I've yet to build, but definitely going to be really excited to play ABCs again now that Buster Dragon's back at 2. But moving on, we also have Totally Awesome coming back to 2 as well. Definitely quite a nice card to come back at 2. Not going to be making any big changes. I mean, some water decks might be able to utilize it. You know, you go into Bahamut Shark and then you go into your Totally Awesome. That's not too bad at all, but you know, at 2, I don't think it's going to make too big of an impact. Honestly, I feel like Totally Awesome, yes, coming back at 3, I think that will make quite a big impact, because if you're able to bring out more Totally Awesomes, you could actually create quite a difficult field to break apart. But for the time being, 2 cards or 2 Totally Awesomes are definitely going to be quite an interesting format into how things will shift out. But that being said, let's finally move on to the Unlimited section. This is quite a big deal. We have here 5 cards that have come off, so I'm definitely very happy about this, simply because I always like to see more cards come off the ban list. Starting off, we have Makura the Destructor. As great as this card was formerly, ever since it's been errated, it doesn't really matter what happens to it now. So the fact that it's coming off the ban list, if anything, they kind of ruined the card by giving it an errata, but yeah, it's not going to really do anything in this format, so it doesn't really matter if it comes off the list. Tour Guide of the Underworld, it was semi-limited, but now that it's at 3, I guess it, you know what, again, it actually does make Burning Abyss quite good. I mean, this is another buff for Burning Abyss. Wow, it's crazy. This list is really loving Burning Abyss. But yeah, Tour Guide at 3, I mean, there are definitely plenty of other decks that it could be utilized in, but damn, Burning Abyss coming back again. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. Moving on, we have Evigishki, Gus Kraken. You know, this card, Gishkis have never been the top deck out there. I mean, if you're going to play a water ritual deck, you might as well go for Nekraz, but with Gishkis coming off, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal, but it would certainly be quite a bit of fun to see what actually happens with this particular card. It was limited, so maybe 2 extras will definitely change a few things up. Moving on, we have Pantheism of the Monarchs. This is actually a really awesome card. I've been thinking about building Monarchs for the longest time now. The sad thing is I never actually got around to buying the core, so even if I wanted to, I can't really build the deck now. But it's all the more reason for me to now play Monarchs, because having Pantheism back at 3 is quite a big deal, so that's going to be quite fun indeed. And yeah, I just can't wait until this whole lockdown's over so that I could actually go out and, you know, get the deck. But with that being said, the final card we have here is Widow Anchor. I mean, it's a typical card to actually stop your opponents. If anything, well, not replacement, but more so an alternative to Called by the Grave. So the fact that we don't have Called by the Grave anymore, well, Called by the Grave's at 1, and we could play Widow Anchor at 3, I think it might become a new staple. Yeah, I could see that happening. But, you know, the other thing is this, with Widow Anchor, or Sky Strikers in general, they do merge with Burning Abyss quite well, so again, another scary thing. I can't believe it. I mean, this list really favors Burning Abyss like crazy here. I just can't believe it. But yeah, with that being said, they took down a lot of problematic cards for us, but at the same time, they really gave a huge boost to Burning Abyss here. So this is going to be quite a crazy format we're going into here. But with that being said, definitely let me know your opinions down below. What do you guys think about this? I mean, I'm sure some of you will be really happy that Burning Abyss has such a huge return. But at the same time, how much of this do you think it will affect the meta or the format? But with that being said, hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.